The first thing I wanted to get into tonight, and I know that people listen to this show for nonsense and fun, but I'm really struck by this terribly sad story of this 7-year-old boy, Hershall Creachbaum. I know we've been talking about it all day here on WHIO. It's been covered on Channel 7 quite a bit. And just to recap, if you're not familiar, in a nutshell, this 7-year-old boy was reported missing around 3:30 a.m. Saturday morning. By 7:30 Saturday evening, police had found this boy's body, and he has autism. He used a wheelchair, though the story that I saw that said that he can walk or could walk short distances, but he spent most of his time, I guess, in a wheelchair. And the police announced on Saturday that they found his wheelchair Saturday morning, and then that evening they found his body. And then today we hear, or at least we report, that this boy's mom, 36-year-old Ashley Johnson, and her boyfriend, a 38-year-old Michael Kendrick, have both been arrested and charged in connection with the case. The mom has been charged with obstructing justice and failure to report a death, and the boyfriend charged with 3 counts of tampering with evidence and 1 count of abuse of a corpse, because this boy did not go missing on Saturday morning at 3:30 in the morning. This boy, according to police, has been dead for weeks and has not been seen for weeks. And it wasn't until Saturday morning mom decided to call the police. Now, I can't speculate as to how this young boy died. I'm not going to put myself out there and make accusations. We don't know as of right now. At least the police are not saying. But this investigation is obviously ongoing and developing, probably pretty rapidly. But what I was struck with, and if you've been around here for any amount of time here in Dayton, you might remember a case from 30 years ago this month. And I was working at WHIO radio the first time in the summer of 1995. And I remember the story nonstop, and this was all before social media. Nonstop was that of the missing Samantha Ritchie. And the similarities are uncanny. That this little girl is reported missing on July 18th, and mom, Jolynn Ritchie, who was 24 at the time, blamed the missing child on crackheads and said that somebody must have scooped her up. 5 days later, on the 22nd of July, little Samantha Ritchie's body was found. And she was found at an old foundry site. And what ended up being the case was that mom and her boyfriend killed this little girl and then dumped her body. And mom ended up going to prison. Boyfriend also. And I mean, like I said, I don't know what happened. But it makes you wonder why a mom would wait weeks to report her child missing. with a boyfriend involved. After cops pressed Jolene Ritchie and her boyfriend Ernest Brooks, they finally admitted what they had done. The story is that boyfriend and mom were having sex in a basement, and Samantha came upon them, discovered it, and somebody responded in anger. So I'm just, and I'm blown away. I mean, it really is uncanny. And again, we don't know how this child died, but you have to ask yourself, if this child died of some sort of natural cause or some sort of accident that maybe couldn't have been prevented, something happened, you would think that mom would be willing to call the police and say, hey, this happened, or call 911, but from what we understand, that's not the case. And this is just, I just can't, I will never understand. I will never understand. And the parallels, I don't know if anybody else has made this parallel between what happened in this situation and what happened 30 years ago this month. I mean, it's the 14th. So, if this child's been dead for several weeks, we're talking the first part of July. I'm at a loss. I really am at a loss, because what would possess somebody to behave that way? I just can't wrap my mind around it, and I don't think you should be able to wrap your mind around it. It just escapes me. It escapes me, and it's terribly sad. I knew a few people who were out trying to look for Samantha Ritchie all those years ago. And I just remember the backlash that the community had when they found out the truth. I mean, for a week, people were trying to locate this young woman, this little girl. So we'll see what happens. I mean, this is just awful. And it's terribly sad. It's terribly sad. I mean, your mind can make up all kinds of stories around this. Like what led to this? What caused this? Why did this happen? But, as the week unfolds, I'm sure that we will hear more details from local police and what they find. I mean, if this child was in fact, missing and dead for a number of weeks, I don't know. And I know it is terribly depressing, people on the live stream, and I get it. And this isn't the normal sort of thing that you talk about on this show. I get that. But this is a local show. And this is going to be a huge story, I think. It's already a huge story. But we can't forget that a little 7-year-old boy's life was taken somehow, some way. And that his mother did not love him or care for him enough to step up and say, this is what happened, or my son is missing. I can't, I don't know. We started the show tonight talking about this sad story of the 7-year-old boy, Hershall Creachbaum, who was reported missing Saturday morning around 3:30 in the morning. And then Saturday evening around 7:30, police found his dead body. And it just reminded me the parallel of the story of Samantha Ritchie. If you are from the Dayton area or you were here back 1995, she was a little girl who went missing. She was missing for 5 days, and they finally found her body at an abandoned foundry over in North Dayton. And it turns out that her mother and her boyfriend was responsible for her death. And this was all just a ruse, if you will, that she was missing. They blamed it on crackheads, that somebody had swiped her. Not the case at all. And I was just sort of lamenting that here we are 30 years later. That happened in July of 1995. And we have this other story now where this boy was missing, and mom and boyfriend are now facing charges. Well, we have some new information. And I just saw this on Channel 7 a few minutes ago with John Bedell. He announced that court records that I guess he just got his hands on indicate that the boyfriend in this case, 38-year-old Michael Kendrick, did in fact kill the 7-year-old boy, punched him twice, pushed him down, and the little boy died the next morning. And apparently this may have happened towards the end of May, and we don't know all the details, but mom, Ashley Johnson, apparently was in the hospital for something. And maybe the boy was left with this boyfriend. So after the child died the next day, and I don't know what the exact date of this occurred. According to court reports, this Michael Kendrick then moved the boy several times. After he died, he hid his body, and then he's moved it several times since then. So throughout the month of June and the first part of July until this past Saturday, this guy was hiding and moving this boy's dead body. We don't know, what mom knew. At least it wasn't reported. I didn't see that. But at some point, mom had to come out of the hospital, right? And I'm assuming she knew her son was missing, right? Because now she's been charged with obstructing justice and failure to report a death. And this boyfriend charged with 3 counts of tampering with evidence and 1 count of abuse of a corpse. And I'm assuming, I don't know, I'm not a lawyer, but at some point here in the next day, or maybe by the end of the day tonight, he might be facing murder charges of some level. But we got more details. So just another sad example. And again, the parallel, just crazy. 30 years ago, Samantha Ritchie, same kind of situation where mom and boyfriend, are in cahoots, and they dump this poor child's body, and they say, "Oh, we don't know what it's missing. We don't." Just sad. 7-year-old Hershall Creachbaum. He was autistic and used a wheelchair a lot of the time. And apparently, Ian, my producer, says that the boyfriend apparently led police to the body on Saturday. So finally, I guess they were able to break him, and he talked. That's the one good thing that he did here. I just need to, I want to correct myself. We were talking about this story of this little boy who was missing, reported missing on Saturday morning, very early, 3:30 in the morning. Police found his body 7:30 Saturday night. We now know that he's been deceased for a number of weeks, and that the boyfriend of this child's mother reportedly punched the kid several times, pushed him down, and then he died the next day. And this probably would have been maybe, I think they said late May, early June, somewhere in that time frame. And I'm not exactly sure 100%. I just heard Sierra's report. I had mentioned that the mom was in the hospital, but the way that her report read, it sounded like the mother's mother, the child's grandmother, had been taking care of this boy, the 7-year-old Hershall Creachbaum, and that she had an accident, a car accident of some sort at the end of last year. And when she was in the hospital, her mom took guardianship. So I don't know that mom was in the hospital at all. I said that, and I thought that's what I got from the news report. But I just wanted to be clear on that. So we don't know all the details yet. But I have a sneaking suspicion that this story is going to go national. 100% that this is going to go national. And again, it parallels so incredibly closely to the Samantha Ritchie story that happened 30 years ago this month, where mom and boyfriend were responsible for the death of this 4-year-old little girl, Samantha Ritchie, and then hid her body in a foundry pool of water, and made it sound like somebody had kidnapped her and abducted her, which scares all the kids and scares all the parents at the time, thinking that somebody might be out there doing this. But in reality, they were the ones responsible. So this is going to continue to develop over the next week or so, and we'll get more details. And of course, we'll have more tomorrow morning on Miami Valley's Morning News here on WHIO.